Okay, hit record on your videos. Hit record on your videos. Hit record on your videos before you start the goddamn video. Me. Oh boy. Hi everybody. We have our top 10 worst regiments of renown from a multiplayer standpoint, and at the best of the worst, the least terrible, is Queen Bess. Queen Bess has a lot of problems. It is strong versus tightly packed infantry. Still pretty strong, as we can see here, against loose formation infantry, but it is entirely worthless against cavalry, single entities, monstrous infantry, or, honestly, other artillery as well, unless it gets a really lucky shot on that artillery's crew. Queen Bess is weak to enemy artillery, hitting her gigantic cannon model and maybe destroying it outright, making the unit worthless. Weak to archers, weak to skirmish cav, weak to light cav, suicide charging her crew, and weak to infantry getting all the way up to her. So she's weak to a lot of things, not strong versus a lot, making her a hyper-specific unit. Add on top of that an extremely low rate of fire and a very high price point, and you have yourselves a problem. Queen Bess, just not great. Not a terrible unit, but for Regiments of Renown, definitely bottom 10. Oh, hey, wow, that's crazy. The Scions of Mathlaan are already here with a bunch of Sylvan Guard. That's awesome. How could that happen? Is this the second time I'm recording this video? Couldn't possibly be that. Could possibly be that I forgot to hit the record button the first time. Okay, so the Scions of Mathlaan are number 9. They are the High Elf Spearman Regiment of Renown. They don't even get the typical bog standard plus 10 leadership, melee attack, and melee defense that almost all Regiments of Renown get. They only get 7 melee attack. They don't have any extra armor, no extra HP, no extra weapon strength, nothing like that. The only thing the Scions get is an aura of protection plus 10 damage resistance that is situational for 15 winds of magic or greater, which in the late game means they won't be able to get this because you're going to use up all your winds of magic, and in the early game they won't have this because you're still trying to build up your winds of magic. Aura protection is just not that good for being situational. For 300 gold cost increase over their base spearmen, that is a problem. Also, the Scions of Mathlaan has nothing to stop a burning head or a pendulum or something from killing them, which is honestly usually how you get through high elf spearmen regardless, because they have crazy high melee defense. And you could just go 50 gold more. Instead of getting a Regiment of Renown, you could get the Sylvan Guard, who for 50 gold more have more HP, 30% spell resistance, 35 more armor, 5 less leadership, 1 more melee attack, 6 less melee defense, and 7 more weapon strength. 50 gold more, that makes them a lot tankier against the things that normally kill spearmen. Their armor, their HP, and their spell resistance increase makes them a lot tankier than the Scions of Mathlaan, more than a situational 10% ward save. Scions of Mathlaan, there's a reason you never see them. They're just not good. Number 8 is going to get me in a lot of trouble, because many people love these guys, but the Lost Sylvan Knights are terrible. They are now in the 8 worst regiments of renown in the game, coming in 8th. Oh boy, 0 armor, low HP, and relying on physical resistance to keep you alive. In the age of Warhammer 3, where everything and its grandmother is getting magic damage, literally Tzeentch's roster has everything that does magic damage on it. It's just easier and easier to get magic damage to kill the Lost Sylvan Knights, and they don't offer enough in return. They're very expensive, very squishy, and they have some decent slows with Frostbite. They have magic attacks and armor piercing, but it doesn't make up for how easily they get killed. They're so squishy, and they're very easy to track down. Now in this replay, we're not going to look at it straight up head-to-head because the AI is stupid and runs away from me all the time because the AI is dumb. But that's not really the point of why I have this second replay. It's just like, okay, you use Centaurs of Tzeentch, fast, hard-hitting magic damage. That's not fair. What about heavily armored, so Lost Sylvan Knights do more damage to them? Chaos Knights, who don't have any armor piercing, don't have any anti-large, don't have any magic damage? Well, I mentioned in Warhammer 3 it's pretty fucking easy to get magic damage. You can just cast a Flaming Sword of Ruin on these guys. In the Lost Sylvan Knights, the AI paths them away because it immediately realizes this is going to be a bad engagement, so it's waiting for my buffs to wear off. But in the meantime, the Lost Sylvan Knights still take a lot of damage from the Chaos Knights chasing them down. They aren't that fast, then get away from my Chaos Knights. Charge bonus is a hell of a drug. And already these guys have lost 1/3 of their HP while trying to run away. They still lost that much. And like, Flaming Sword of Ruin is hardly the only thing that gives magic damage. Aspect of the Dread Knight gives magic damage. I think Occam's Mindrazor also gives magic damage. Fate of Buna is magic damage. Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma is magic damage. Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance is magic damage. A lot of Regiments of Renown, a lot of cavalry in general have magic damage already. So it's just like, magic damage is all over the game. And an ethereal heavy cav just doesn't really hold up. Number 7 on this list doesn't even have their own name. The Immortals, copied by the Immortals of the Greenskins, are pretty forgettable. Very expensive Regiment of Renown, but one of the weirdest things is they lose all the best parts of Infernal Ironsworn. Infernal Ironsworn have high melee defense, silver shields, and they have very strong fire damage blasting charges that even though they aren't primarily AP, they still will do a lot of damage even to the likes of heavily armored, high HP Black Orcs. The Immortals, on the other side, lose their shields to gain a bit of melee attack, but they lose their 14 less melee defense than their Infernal Ironsworn companions. And for all that, they get a little more weapon strength, some anti-infantry. They're not even primary armor piercing, though. They're primarily base weapon damage. So it's like you're not even the best at, like, it's not like the Hellforged Host, right, from Khorne. It's not like, oh, I'll throw these guys into any fight and they'll win. It's like, I mean, they still don't want to fight armored infantry too much. And then they have this little passive that looks cool. Perfect Vigor, as long as their HP is greater than 75%. And they get Cannot Die. Okay, but that's going to deactivate so quickly. Infantry units take a ton of damage on the charge. Usually like Fate of Buna, Pendulum, Pit of Shades, Melkoth spam, artillery, cav charges. Like, it just gets deactivated so quickly that, cool, you're paying for a little passive that doesn't do too much. And they lose out on these beautiful blasting charges that are messing up the Black Orcs. Took a quarter of the Black Orcs' HP before the fight even started. And they do even more than that to light infantry. So the Immortals, they're less tanky, they're more expensive, but sure, they will deal more damage quickly. They also take more damage doing it, and the Chaos Dwarves aren't exactly a roster that hurts for fighting enemy infantry. I mean, you have Bullset Renders that do okay, you have a bunch of Chariots that do really well, and I don't know, they're just kind of worthless. And you know, if you're playing against Chaos Dwarves, your enemy's going to bring a lot of anti-infantry armor piercing. So they're going to bring something cleave through the Immortals. So the Immortals here, they beat the Black Orcs faster than their Infernal Ironsworn compatriots. They get 1,300 value. Black Orcs got 1,200 fighting back against them. Well, these Infernal Ironsworn have gotten 750 value, but the Black Orcs have also only gotten 650 fighting against them. Now, if I let this play out all the way, the Black Orcs might still kill the Infernal Ironsworn. Might. They are still losing, but maybe they'll rally. But that's the point, isn't it? These Immortals have taken so much damage, they're pretty much a spent force killing one gold chevron to Black Orc, while their cousins, who cost less, are just holding. And I'm sure by now a Skullcracker or Bull Centaur Renders, great weapons, someone would have come and bailed them out, and they're still doing fine. So you're paying more to just kill something quicker, but take more damage. I don't know. That's not exactly an upgrade to me. And the Immortals take a lot more damage from like Shades or Dark Shard crossbows or any armor-piercing crossbow type unit because they don't have any shields. They don't have any missile resistance. It's just not good. It's just not a good time. Not a good trade. Oh, number 6 is the White Wolves. For only, like, their stats tell a different story, but for only 250 more gold, you do get more melee attack, more melee defense, more weapon strength, more missile strength, more leadership, and these guys have an Encourage aura, and they're immune to psychology. All that sounds good on paper, but they're still a 25 armor, 6,000 HP archer unit. 36 melee attack, 32 melee defense isn't going to save you from that. They get run over by cavalry still really easily, so it's not like, oh, if I take the White Wolves, light cavalry can't touch me. It's like, no, it'll still beat you. Most infantry will trade up into you if they catch you. You're not that much better of an archer. It's just really underwhelming and not very good. Immune to psychology on an archer is neat, but you still only have 65 leadership. So, cool. If a big terror-causing monster gets on top of you, I don't think being resistant to terror is going to save you that much. I guess an Encourage aura is neat. I guess. I don't know. There's just no real reason to pay 250 more gold for an extra huntsman. It's not good. It's one of those weird units that, like, on paper it looks good, but in practice it's never worth it. Like, they're just never worth it. Number 5 on our worst regiments of Renown list is Soulcrusher, and at least he lives up to the name. Soulcrusher crushed my soul. He's a basic War Mammoth ROR. The only thing special about him is he causes Enrage, which gives 40% damage resistance every so often, the 90-second cooldown. Other than that, nothing special about him. Compared to a basic War Mammoth, he has slightly more weapon strength, 9 more melee attack and melee defense, and 10 more leadership. But he's still a mammoth. You're paying 400 more gold for mildly more stats and Enrage. Mammoths are still not doing really good. He can't clear out infantry that well. He's not that good of a duelist. And what's messed up is the War Mammoth War Shrine, which is the same cost as the regular War Mammoth, is actually just better. It doesn't have the dinky little javelins on the back, but it does have Giver of Glory, where it gets more physical resistance. It gives more physical resistance and vigor back to all nearby allies as stuff dies. And it has the +10 leadership aura, which actually gives the War Mammoth War Shrine the same leadership as the Soulcrusher, because it'll give itself that little buff. And it gives the Encourage aura. Wait, this guy doesn't give the Encourage aura either. Yeah, okay. So the War Mammoth War Shrine is just, like, better, and it's much cheaper. It is a little more supportive, but Mammoth's already, like, that extra couple melee stats isn't going to turn this thing into a duelist or something. You're using them for the collision attacks, so you might as well have the auras that buff up all your bros. So, yeah. It is outclassed by something that is cheaper than it on the same roster. Damn, Soulcrusher. You crushed my soul. Maybe CA will give you, like, 3 more walk speed, and then you'll be OP. Number 4 on our list is the Frozen Heart of Winter. For 400 more gold, there's a key stat that's missing here. You get 11 more melee attack, you get 8 more melee defense. That's neat. But do you know what you don't get? Any more leadership. And for a unit that is essentially a demon, it's an elemental, so if it gets low enough, it just starts killing itself off. Leadership is kind of crucial. So the fact that this thing still has the same 80 leadership as its regular elemental bearkin means that when it gets surrounded and gets to about 1/3 HP, it will start to kill itself off. That is a disastrous effect, and I have no idea why it doesn't have more leadership. All it gets for this is a Heart of Winter cast. Nothing else about it is special as far as I can see. Yeah, it's the same. It just gets a single use undercasted Heart of Winter that happens right underneath it. You can't even like target it or anything. So, yeah, you paid 400 more gold for 10 melee, 11. 11 melee attack, 8 melee defense, and a free cast of Heart of Winter. Ooh. That's really good. It's not really good. Whereas you compare the Warbear Riders, hey look, you get 10 more leadership, the same 11 and 9 spread. It's actually better than the 11 and 8 spread. 11-9 spread, and then you get the Call of Tor, which is a AoE, what is that? Curse of Honor here on a cooldown. Oh wow, that's a significant change. This isn't a change at all. This sucks. Number 3 is the Deathjacks, the Archer Regiment of Renown. For moderately more stats, moderately. You get Vanguard, Snipe, and Stalk. That's kind of neat, but these guys have such low range that you pretty much have to get in range of getting spotted to even fire. So if you fire at max range and nothing comes near you at all, yes, you'll have Snipe, but Snipe is not that useful on low to medium range units. I don't know. Still get run down by cavalry super easily. They're only 550 gold, but their missile strength isn't that impressive. And for 100 more gold, you could just get a Huntsman. And Huntsmen have more range, anti-large missiles, more ammunition. And then that's about it, but they also have spread formation. I don't know. Deathjacks are just kind of bad. 90 models, too. Not high DPS. They're cheap. That's the only thing I can say about them is that I guess they're cheap, but big who cares. It's an extremely underwhelming little unit. If you didn't think our conversation was enough with the Lost Sylvan Knights, the Chillgheists are much worse for all the same reasons. I can cast Aspect of the Dread Knight. Like, I could cast Flaming Sword of Ruin. I could cast anything that abused magic attacks. I'm just trying to show how many sources of magic attacks you can get in this game. But the Chillgheists, unshielded, 0 armor, relying entirely on their physical resistance, just don't do very much. Even if I'm not shooting them, which is this example, I'm shooting the shit out of them. But even if I don't shoot them, in a regular cav fight, these guys just don't do enough damage. Something is weird about them where they don't seem to... These are just basic high elf archers. They don't seem to do that much damage to cavalry even when they connect with them. Even with their full armor piercing and all that stuff, it's just terrible. They don't cleave infantry quickly, so it's like, it's high risk and low reward. They don't even do that much damage when they collide. They still have half their models here. And they charge into these guys. Their charge gets messed up, and then they just kind of don't do much and die to archers. Chillgheists are terrible. They're just terrible. You can take basic hex rates, but the main thing about the Chillgheists that makes them suck is their price point. If that was a 1200 gold unit, okay, it's slow is nice, storm piercing nice, maybe it's good. It's 1700 gold. It's 1700 gold. That's so expensive. Like, compare that to a lot of other units. The Avalanche mortars are 1500 gold. Chillgheists are 1,700. They're more expensive than the Lost Sylvan Knights, I think. Or the Lost Sylvan Knights aren't 1,800, are they? They're 1,500. I think. I'll check. Holy shit, the Lost Sylvan Knights are 1,900 gold. Never mind. That sucks. The Lost Sylvan Knights are terrible. The Lost Sylvan Knights are garbage. Holy. Okay, I feel more justified. I thought that, dude, I put them at number 9 on this list. Number 8. Number 8. I put them on number 8 at this list, thinking that they were 1,500 gold. That's still brutal. All right, that validates my putting them on this list even more. But the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are 1,550, and those guys are super meta. They're very strong. What are the Fireborn? Oh, the Fireborn are 1,800. Yeah, all right, Chillgheists suck. The Chillgheists are trash. 1,700 gold for this piece of shit. Nah, man. That's messed up. You can't do that to people. Okay, maybe the name isn't the most appropriate. I was going to say I've never seen a more appropriate name for a monster than Aeson the Fallen. But to fall, you have to have been at a high place to fall down from. Aeson was born in the dirt, and he somehow went lower. He sucks. He is the worst Regiment of Renown in this game, by far. So even when the Mutal Vortex Beast was super meta and OP and all over the place, Aeson still sucked. So back when his base form was overpowered, he was terrible. His base form has since been nerfed so much it's terrible, and he's still more terrible. For 2,600 gold, he has an insanely high price point. He has some okay melee stats, but these are just pistols. These are zombie pistols. These are regular zombie deckhand mobs. These are not halberds. That is an animated Hulk. Nothing here has anti-large. And Aranis Assault Spike did not bring her anti-large aura. Aeson does okay damage versus single entities, terrible damage versus extra models as he tries to drain them down, and then he has this little ability he casts that, oh wow, it does so much damage to these guys. That's crazy amounts of damage, and it wore off. Oh, you blink and you miss it. The ability is done. That's it. That was the whole ability. That was awesome. That was a great ability. And meanwhile, these basic pistols, he's already lost half his HP because he has pathetically low missile resistance, low armor, unshielded, not a high HP pool. He just sucks. He's just terrible. And his leadership isn't even that good, so he's gonna rout at just under half HP. He's already routing for 2,600 gold. The Fireborn cost 1,800. Those fuckers never break. Aeson's terrible. He's the worst Regiment of Renown in the entire game, bar none. I could see disagreements for other ones on this list, but I think he is definitively the worst Regiment of Renown in the game. I can't even think of another one that even comes close. The Chillgheists were number 2, and they don't even come close to how terrible he is. Subscribe, yes.